Hi YouTube, welcome back. My name's Sean Connors and this is Outsiders, and today we're going to talk about the setting of Ravenloft and what it could do for you and your campaigns, thinking about them going forward. This is an unusual setting. You have to imagine we're in an era now where many films are becoming, this era is coming back. We've got, coming to the UK very shortly, we've got a film devoted purely to the werewolf. We've obviously had all the Twilight films of recent times. Plus, if you think about various very well supported things like Charmed and various things like that came on the TV, there's still a great interest around this sort of occult, this sort of figure. Strad is the character's name. That traditionally this is the sort of the vampire. It's a bit of a cheesy picture of Strad. However, the very family name of the Strats is a fantastic, iconic evil character, and I think what it can do as a campaign setting is wonderful. What you have to do is find a way to pitch a situation to your characters, to put them in a realm where they are isolated. They realise that they should quickly see who the bad guy is, but because of he is far superior to them, he is very difficult to get to. It could be a story in itself till they reach that point where they try and take on the Strad himself, to try and take care of this tyranny that runs this area. In the story that I recently ran, I had quite a classic idea that there were a chain of 3 islands that were quite close together, could all be seen by each other. Each of the islands was ruled by one of these creatures. Obviously there was the main Strad, Von Strad, who was the main character, and he had two other siblings who ruled the other islands. And there was a small network of towns and villages on these islands, absolutely fearful of these creatures and what they could do, but they were cut off from the rest of the world. It was like they were at the tip of an archipelago. And the islands themselves were shrouded in this sort of mist. And this had 2 things, and the first thing is this evil mist, it meant that certain things could not be done. Once you're inside, there were certain things you could not do, so transport type spells and various things didn't function, you couldn't get out. It wasn't as simple as we'll just charter a rowing boat and head off to sea. It just wasn't as simple as that. And the idea I had was that my characters in my campaign setting became shipwrecked there, realised quite quickly that the populace was scared of their masters and were fearful of strangers, and the characters were fearful for their lives. And it was a fantastic campaign where from the very beginning they began to unravel the various threads that were running throughout this place. So at first I didn't tell them about these creatures, the Strats. I didn't explain the connections. All I did was give tentative little links about the fearfulness of it. So, you know, the sort of scenes that you see is that when you imagine you get washed up on shoreline, you recover what equipment you can, you begin searching, eventually you find a road, you follow that road, you see a village. As soon as people see children run inside, you notice they have great garlands of different, I use the words, different herbs that were hanging around the edges of their buildings. I didn't go into detail that it was garlic, but obviously if the players then asked, then I'd put that in there. So very quickly you're building a mental picture of the Strads, and you're building this campaign setting, which is very Pacific. What I like about it is because sometimes when you're building a game as a DM, you don't want the enemy, the big enemy, to be known till the very end. You want him to be under the surface with his machinations, pulling the strings until the very final chapter when players should be fully aware of who he is or she is. But in this, eventually very quickly who the bad guy is. But how do you deal with them? And God help you if they find you first. So I found that a fantastic setting. These books are actually quite easy to find off eBay. There's quite a lot of them. There's different Ravenloft source books that are out there. This is just one. There are quite a few modules actually. Some of them very iconic. There was I3, which is Ravenloft, and then there's I10, which is the Return to Ravenloft. If you can get either of those, particularly I10, absolutely superb. The maps in I10 are worth the price of admission, and I will try and dig those out at some point and cover those off in a review as well. So I wanted to cover off a small piece, a little setting piece about Ravenloft and why in this current era this could be a wonderful setting. And of course, Courtney, this is for you. So if there's more stuff that you want to see, if there's more stuff that people would like explained about the setting, I'd be very happy to go into it. But I just wanted to give you a few moments on a possible setting that's very topical, that is very prevalent. It's pretty much, you can base anything you like in it, And it would be very, very easy as well to have a scenario, if you wanted to, where the characters maybe don't know that they're also maybe gifted in some way, maybe descended from these type of creatures, and that again is very, very, very strong, because if you think about the movies like Twilight and what's coming out. So that is Ravenloft. I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been Outsiders. My name's Sean Connors. Until the next time, take care, happy gaming.